we're basically off to the races. She's pregnant with the demon's kid.
But wait, can we just talk a little bit about that though? Because I like to think that like some of these people haven't even seen this movie and they want like a little bit more of a synopsis.
It's mostly about Anthony and Star Trek.
So she has the pudding. Exactly.
Yeah, she has the moose.
She has the moose. She gets a little dizzy. He's like, "Oh, you're drunk again." Gaslighting. You're drunk. And then he puts her to bed and she has that fucked up dream, but it's kind of nice. She's on a boat, but then everybody's naked.
Well,
and then
one thing
she
we noticed
feels the devil raping her.
From doing this, because we've done a couple so far, is that the biggest overused horror trope in good horror movies is the naked old people.
Oh.
The Shining,
Hereditary had it.
This,
what's scarier than like an old fat man's balls?
Well,
I guess, you know?
The ultimate nightmare too is seeing your parents naked or your grandparents naked, right?
Yes.
And I think that I saw my grandmother once run from the shower to the bedroom as I came up, and I was like 5, and I like walked into the kitchen door because we lived in a split unit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always would go upstairs, and my grandma ran naked, and I saw that gray bush, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, why is like her like stomach and pussy like falling off? Like, what is happening? I was like, what the fuck is going on? And it was like, oh, that's what happens when you get old. Like, it looks like your genitals are like the Twin Towers, like right before they collapse. Like, right as like the part of the building's like starting to come off.
Like
that's what old people's genitals look like. Like a slab of stone coming off the edge.
Where your dick doesn't get bigger, but your balls do.
Yes.
So it's like it becomes this like grandfather like door knocker, you know, like your whole.
Yes.
Right.
You could. Okay. So it's a nightmare. So it's a nightmare, and also the dream sequence. I would argue there's nothing pleasant about it because even the way they shoot it, they put a real hard and neutral density filter on, so that even though it's bright and sunny out, there's this sense of darkness over it. So even as bright and sunny as it is, and also she's naked, but then she's in the bikini on the boat, and again, you have this gathering, right? Just like the school, you have a gathering. Right. There's a gathering there of people. So the idea that she's in and out of it, I would say it's awful. It's a fugue state less than it's a dream. Okay.
Do we think that when she's being raped, do we think everybody really was there watching her? Because I got the sense that like they all came in. She's been drugged.
That's why that dresser was in front of the closet. The closet was the secret
guy
way.
Eating cheese.
There's a secret entrance in the door. That's why that dresser was blocking the closet.
So she's pregnant. She goes to Charles Grodin, who I love so much. Who everybody in this movie, you're like, when are they going to like become an evil person? Like that's what I think throughout the whole movie.
Grodin's the most interesting one because he's not part of the cult, but he just gives them up because
but you know
she's
why
a woman
he does?
and
He's
but she's a hysterical woman. So he's like, I'll call up your doctor.
Let me call this doctor who seems reputable. I mean, he knows the name, Saperstein,
Jew.
But then he
very Jewish. They really pulled the Jewish name besides Dr. Geveltovich Bagel.
Dr. Torah.
Doctor, it's cold in here.
So she's pregnant. This is great. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody's gathering around her. They want to take care of her. Don't take those vitamins. We're gonna make you things.
This
we have
organic
all these special drink this thing. And then at some point, when does Rosemary start realizing she's being drugged?
Well, it plugs into this idea also of the new agey shit that was happening in the 60s, right? And so this whole idea of the young couple, the young idea, and like the predatory leeching of the greatest generation folks on these young people, right? So this idea is also like there's this thing about generational leeching and bleeding off of, right? So the idea is when she, when she gives her that natural drink, right? There's this idea of like they're this hip bohemian couple, right? And so she gives her the drink. She realizes the drink after Hutch goes into the coma,
right?
And then she finds out what's going on, and and that was I remember because she says to her, Minnie, she goes, Minnie, I'm not going to have the shake today. I got to go meet somebody.
Right.
Then she runs into Minnie after she learns, and Minnie goes, oh, I can't believe I'm finding you here on the street. You got to go, Rosemary. You got to come back to the apartment.
Right.
So they go back, gives her the drink. That's when she starts to realize that the pain is directly related to the shake. She stops drinking the shake. She starts to look better.
And that's because the friends. Remember, she has a party with their normal friends,
Yes,
and
the
normal
normal
women
friend.
are
Yes,
like,
normal
and he's
women
like, girls, help me carry this out, and they all kind of surround her, and they're like,
Who were
this-
also all beautiful, so I'm sure
So
Roman
hot.
was Roman was
Roman
like,
was-
well, I can't get. She's already with someone, so I'll make all the friends.
Yeah, but no one was underage, so he wasn't interested. So she.
They are squarely of age. That's
they
the
are,
one thing. I'm like,
unfortunately.
these girls are hot and of age. What's going on
They're
here?
women. They're not girls.
Well, this is pre-Tate. I always wonder what, like, Sharon Tate's murder did. You know, trauma can trigger things that are in people. It can trigger them to then act them out.
Do you think, because people think a lot of stuff that happened with this movie, because people think that like part of that was because of the film, that it was anyone that worked on it, they somehow developed like this haunting
the guy who
energy
did the score,
around
the
them.
guy who did the score died.
know.
He died.
man. I
Someone
bet
went
you
into a
do.
coma.
Come on, guys.
Sharon Tate was murdered. No, but I feel like you could
I
say
feel
that
like
about
if you
any
stu-
movie.
That's what I mean. I feel like if you studied Avatar, you would find a few deaths connected to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Besides,
because people committed suicided.
yeah, because
They were like, I can't believe I'm-
Spaventa
Well,
is
actually,
an Avatar
Wizard
apologist.
of Oz is a great example.
You're an
of all
Avatar
the good shit.
apologist?
Love it. Saw a way of water twice.
Oh,
Ew.
More like way off of water. Am I right, Spaventa? I haven't seen it.
Okay, so
I just think
Hutch-
it's sexy Blue Man Group.
Here's
That's
one
what-
thing you realize is
Yes.
that like Hutch is things start going missing, right? So Guy has this role, that guy fell into a coma. Everybody's getting hurt. Oh no, he went blind. The main actor, that
the
guy
main
was
actor went blind, and then what it is Hutch's glove goes missing.
right. He can't find his other gloves. So
Yes.
There's like little tiny little pieces that you end up seeing play out.
It's sort of
later
a
on.
witchcraft. What's interesting is they say it's a Satanism film, but it's more
But
of
it
a
is
witchcraft
weren't
film.
the Trent sisters witches?
Yes,
Wasn't
so it's a
they-
witchcraft film bringing about the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I really do love about this film is that there's this idea of is this real? Is this not real?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a dream? Is it not? And even the only time it gets real, really, is when she sees the baby and it essentially looks like the devil,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
You know, that's
We
when
just
she-
see its eyes, right?
we
Yeah.
just see its eyes. And what I find interesting about all of it is the sort of one of the interesting things that's always depicted in Satanism is the idea of choice, right? That you have to make a choice. You can't be forced into. It's even the vampiric code of you have to invite them in, right?
Right.
And so even at the very end, Roman implores Rosemary, would you feed him? Please take care of me as your baby, because Minnie can't do it because they're too old, and he goes, it would be unnatural, like very like it's such a
And this,
crazy
by the way, we
line.
skipped in front. The whole rest of the movie is essentially 2 steps forward, her step back, her thinking that 1 step forward, 2 steps back, her thinking, oh, maybe I've got control of this, and then some other thing, whether it's Hutch going into a coma, whether it's Charles Grodin as what's his name in this?
yeah,
Hill
Dr. Hill.
becoming essentially doing a heel turn and giving them up. It's gotten to the point where she's had the baby, she passed out. They said that she lost the baby.
Mm-hmm.
She starts to hear the baby's cries. She ends up going to.
No, they say she has the baby. It's a healthy boy.
No, they said they lose the baby, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
lose the
I missed
baby.
that. Oh, and then she hears it cry, and
She
then
loses the baby, and then she realizes with the Scrabble board that Roman's name is the name of the child, the son of these
the
witches.
son of the witches that Hutch was meeting her to give her that book
Yes.
that day, where he ends up
Yes.
falling into a
and
coma.
it's
Eventually
always the
dies.
book. It's always this book
Yep.
that's.
And he has it earmarked and things underlined, and she's like it's the title of the book, and then she realizes it's the name,
Yep.
and the name turns out to be Roman Castavets.
And what you realize is to think about when you watch Rosemary's Baby. If you're listening to this and you haven't, watch that, and then watch something like what's that? The sort of granddaddy of found footage movies.
Blair Witch.
No, not Blair Witch. I'm sorry, the modern one, the one in the house.
The Paranormal.
Watch Paranormal Activity, and realize that almost there's so much mapping of Rosemary's Baby to Paranormal Activity.
Well, the dynamic of like the no agency thing.
The dynamic of no agency, the psychic who almost comes in, but then the abandonment of people who could help,
Yeah.
but either because of circumstances hoisted on them or whatever.
Well, there's the one guy who just bails.
Yep, and that guy
that
bails.
happens in like every horror movie. You and I've talked about this. How like in Misery, the cop comes in and then she kills him.
But
There's always the person you
Rosemary's
think is going
Baby
to save.
sets the tone for most of this. Like I was thinking about it, I go, I cannot think of a movie earlier than this that sets this many trope tones well. Like I'm sure.
I mean, I guess Psycho, you could say, but that's
Psycho was
probably
around the same time though. Did it come out?
No,
in-
Psycho's 1960.
Oh, is that
Psycho
early?
came out beforehand, but it's a different type of movie. This isn't the satanic stuff. This is
No.
just they set up like the slasher and somebody's a bad guy. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you argue Psycho is the slasher. It's sort of the slasher prototype, but I guess it's the psycho killer prototype.
So it's more on Psycho.
So it's like psycho killer prototype. Then you have the sort of mysterious witch magic book set by Rosemary's Baby. You have the possession archetype established by Exorcist, right, and Omen to
Right.
some degree. And
But like Psycho is like in a lot of ways, like Texas Chainsaw is almost like an evolved Psycho in some ways.
oh
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean Texas Chainsaw to me, is another brilliant template that has been exploited how many times?